Are you scared to go to big public events after those bombings in Boston? We asked you for your response on that on the HLN TV Facebook page, and you overwhelmingly said no. Brian said, I'm going to live my life as I always did. How can you live your life if you're always scared? Betty said, life's scary, but you can't hold yourself up in your bathroom because evil exists. And Mike said, you are just as likely to get hurt crossing the street or going to the store for milk. But Marianne said that she'd be afraid of copycat attacks. She said, I couldn't enjoy the event. I'd be too much on alert. So when you hear about something so horrific as those bombings, how in the world do you make yourself feel safe again? Can you? We're joined now by Erik Fisher. He's a clinical psychologist and author of the book, The Art of Empowered Parenting, the manual you wish your kids came with. All right, Erik, we really appreciate you being here today. So much to talk about. What is the best way to cope with all the fear after such a tragedy like this one?
Right. You know, well, I always teach that every emotion has a purpose. And when we don't understand the purpose of each emotion, then we're flying blind. The purpose of fear is it lets us know when we need to protect ourselves. And that's a very good emotion to have, because without it, we really wouldn't be able to survive as a species if we look back throughout time. So we have to understand that fear is there for a reason, and to listen to it, but not to do everything it tells us, because we also combine logic with that. You know, logic helps us to make sense of the world around us, but developmentally, fear comes before that, before we have any definition of the world to make sense of. So when we have situations happen that are beyond our scope, fear steps in and says, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it prompts us to, you know, for fight or flight. You know, so what are we going to do in those situations? So the best plan is to have a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail, you know. So we have to see that if we have a plan for certain situations, let's say we have kids and we're saying, okay, we're going to go ballpark right now, and if we get separated for any reason, these are a few places I want you to meet. Because you don't know if the place that you might want to meet at might be in a danger zone. So you say they might be two separate places. Make sure that they and you know phone numbers of neighbors, of relatives, of places. Make sure they know how to contact 911 or find a safe person, and or that you do.
So you're saying go to those big events, go to the festivals, the concerts, the sporting events.
Right.
But just be prepared and be aware, and make sure your kids are aware.
Right.
How about the kids in Boston? How are they affected by this? Because I know some of them, you know, they're holed up in their homes. They're seeing these huge guns pointed, you know, at their windows as officers are searching for this suspect.
Right.
What do parents tell their kids?
Well, you know, what I say is that sometimes things happen in life that feel bad. You know, and there are people in this world who make poor choices. There's a lot more positive things in the world to look for, too, and we have to understand that these events can help us grow. Look at how it's brought not only a whole community and city together, but a whole country. And we should come together to see the goodness in people, not focus on the negativity of a few people. And that's how we can really change how we look at these events and recognize that, yes, people make poor choices, but it doesn't have to define the way that I see myself in the world.
Author and clinical psychologist Erik Fisher, thank you very much. Very insightful.